break TV. But the fun time gets.
Good evening, campers, streamers, and babysitters, and welcome back to another edition of the Primetime Terrors. We are talking Chucky, Season 2, Episode 7 today, of course. Forgive me, I am a little under the weather. Been fighting a bit of a cold here, me and the family, all week long, so I have been kind of down for the count, but we are getting through it. Of course, I was not going to miss this episode. Luke, why don't you start things off for us? How are we feeling about Episode 7?
We were talking about kind of really getting that traction going, and with these last couple episodes, I got to keep that momentum rolling. I really enjoyed this episode. There was a lot of twists and turns, a lot of things going on, a lot of deaths.
Yeah.
They really took this in a really different direction, I thought, and I really enjoyed it.
Yeah, no, definitely right there with you with a lot of deaths. This is definitely keeping that momentum that I was kind of hoping for. I'm really happy to say that this is really stepping into some directions I did not expect towards the end of the season. Also considering the fact that we have one more episode left, and all of these people died in this episode, and it was just like, holy crap! Like I was just like, how are we going to do this? And they even have what was told to us as the final good guy doll die at the end too. So I was really just kind of like, what the hell is going on, Chucky? Like what is this last episode going to be like?
Yeah, and I'm assuming you saw the preview for it at the very end.
Yes, I was going to bring that up actually. That looks like our Child's Play 2 conversation about a Christmas themed Chucky is coming true. That's very cool. I'm excited.
Yeah, I saw that and I was like, oh my God, I'm so on board. And I don't know what the time period is here. I don't know. We're in for a time jump, I'm guessing, here for a little bit, but I don't know exactly how much.
I assume a few weeks, at least a month, because, I imagine it's been kind of current, maybe. I mean, in their timeline, this has all been going on through like the first week of November, I'd say so, because it all started on Halloween, correct?
Yeah.
So if this is about a week, maybe 2 weeks worth of time within this time span.
So it's like they'll have time to sit with it for a little bit, which I thought was interesting. And obviously we're suckers for Christmas themed horror. So I'm really excited to see what that last episode is going to do. But like with this one, a lot of cool things going on. One of the things I really wish they would have take advantage of a little more was Devin Sawa as Chucky, because I really enjoyed his impression a little, like I was like, I thought that's what the direction that we were going to go for the remainder of the episode and maybe into, the final episode. Because I liked him kind of switching back and forth in that Brad Dourif impression. I thought that was really interesting. And the way he went out, man.
Oh my God.
Like, what are they doing here?
Yeah, no, that was definitely one of the highlights of the episode for me. I think that I'm so excited to see what they do with him in season 3. I feel like if they don't bring him back for another role at this point, like it would just be so weird and just so off-putting. Like it's not the show without him. I liked all of his stuff this episode because I'm not gonna lie, gearing up for my kind of formulating my thoughts on this season, I feel like he's been pretty underused throughout this whole season, but this paid off in a really big way for me. And I thought that was that whole exorcism and everything they did with that was as cool as I thought it was going to be when we got that little preview last week.
Yeah, and it's really interesting of what the series has done here in terms of kind of redefining Devin Sawa, because he's so notable for things like Idle Hands and Final Destination, all within the horror realm, but now he's so noted for Chucky, I feel, just with season 1 and season 2. And this is where I think, this episode is really in line with, defining Chucky in terms of going from a television or a film series into a television show, and kind of, as we've been talking about, Friday 13th going that direction, and a few others that could potentially go that direction as well. This is, again, Chucky is a blueprint here where it's really working for them. And this episode is no different. This is really a showcase. A lot of things going on, a lot of really cool deaths. And it kind of really just keeps you guessing. So it's like leaving this episode, they leave it on a few cliffhangers, and then, you really don't know where this is going.
Yeah, no, and they do a really good job of just kind of weaving in those twists and turns. These last two episodes have kept me guessing and have shocked me just around every corner. And it's just one of those things too where it's like I kind of love the consequences of the exorcism now. Is that with him switching all these bodies and everything, it's kind of like we don't really know where Chucky has ended up. I think we can kind of infer that he is in Dr. Mixer with the
Yeah.
final ending laugh there. I assume that's where it's going. And obviously, I think that she was bullshitting when she said that that was the last good guy doll.
Yeah, yeah, we don't trust her.
Yeah, I mean, I don't trust her at all. But yeah, no, just everything in this episode was really quite shocking. I would say probably the most shocking episode of the season.
Yeah.
As far as just like who died, where they were going. I didn't expect anything. I thought when it started up and they showed, Jake's confession, I thought we were just going to get right into it.
Yeah.
But no, then they kind of took their time with it. They had the sequence with Lexi, where she was tripping and talking, having that,
Nadine.
Nadine having that kind of almost cathartic, kind of like, I don't want to say come to Jesus moment, but just kind of like, where she just kind of understood, where her place was and what she was going to do. And, they really just did a great job of setting the stage here. And now, those lesser episodes, are really starting to pay off for me in the long run.
Yeah, and that's where, we said it started off slow, but that it's really picking up here. I think that they really had a great trajectory this season, understanding the pacing and kind of making us want more because they knew what they were going to give us toward the end here. And I just love this kind of culmination of seeing everyone in terms of how Chucky has touched their lives and how they're dealing with it, where we don't get that really with any of these other iconic killers, but Chucky hopping body to body, people becoming obsessed with him, these long-standing feuds. I mean, I love the stuff with Kyle, them at the end. I think that was great. Her and Andy walking away and then cut to Child's Play 2 of them leaving the good guy doll factory. I think that was a nice little touch, great editing. Again, it was like one of those things that puts a smile on your face, and in terms of all this crazy other stuff happening, I thought that was a really nice moment. The Nika stuff is really interesting. I love when we were talking about the stories were kind of kept separate, where we're really intertwining everything now, and really makes you wonder what's that next scene after we cut it here. What's the opening of the next episode going to look like?
Yeah, and this is definitely, I think it's going to be kind of a, again, sort of like how the episode for Halloween was, where it was kind of on its own. I feel like this is also going to be kind of on its own a little bit. But you know what? I think that I'm going to be way more on board with this. We got the trio. We have obviously Christmas themed horror. So, it's going to be quite a bit of fun, I feel like, for us. And I'm excited for next week, man. The other thing I got to say is, I don't know. I have to go back and see, but these last two episodes with the Vietnam War film references are just crazy. Like they had the reference to Platoon this time, and then we had the Apocalypse Now reference last week. I'm just kind of because like if you're talking war films, the Vietnam War is my jam. Like I am just so interested in that time period. So it's like I've seen all of them pretty much, and like just like that. Just these little things I'm picking out like that. I'm just like, damn, what is up with Don Mancini and the Vietnam War film references? Like, what is he kind of playing at here? Where are we getting at?
And for me, I'm kind of chalking it up to he's just having so much fun with this with this franchise. I think it's honestly, it's rejuvenated my love for Child's Play, because I'm a big fan of, the original and 2, and then Bride of Chucky, I think is pretty good. And then it kind of gets a little dicey. None of them are bad, but it's just kind of, it's another Chucky film. But like the series here has really rejuvenated my love. And I think that's the same for Don Mancini. You can tell that writing this is a lot of fun, So that makes me excited for this episode 8. I'm putting a lot of expectations on it just because these last few episodes have been so strong. And just that little preview alone makes me really want to watch that one. So it's going to be a long week waiting for that episode to drop.
Oh yeah. So speaking of episode 8, we obviously have the wrap up coming up here shortly. We'll talk episode 8 individually, and then probably a couple days afterwards. I don't know specifically what day, since this is our first real live watch Primetime Terror, our inaugural kind of run. We'll have a posting of our final thoughts and full conclusion talking. I know we kind of talk spoilers each episode, but for those who kind of, and don't want to watch episode by episode with us, you can watch our kit and caboodle thoughts, in that video. We'll kind of break that down, give more like a rating, I guess, and just kind of figure that out. So that'll be a few days after episode 8 premieres, of course. But yeah, I guess unless Luke, you got anything else you want to say about Chucky episode 7?
Nah, I just think it was a strong episode. Loving all the character work here. Some wild deaths. Overall, really great packaged episode. Really makes you want to see that season finale.
I agree. And, I think that I was excited for this week's episode. I'm even more excited for next week's. But, if we can have more horror series like this series, I think that kind of the trajectory of these legacy characters could be elevated in a few notches. Like I was just thinking about it. Like I feel like I'll save this conversation for that final video a little bit more, but just to kind of get it in everybody's heads. What are some other like iconic or maybe lesser iconic horror characters that you'd like to see get their own kind of series like this? Because Chucky's a huge icon, of course, but this is just serving his character and the story and the overall film series as a whole really well. So keep that in your brain. We'll get back to it in our final wrap up, but yeah, I'm just curious what other characters we'd like to see. Alrighty, but I guess that wraps us up here. So until next time, I am Dylan Newell.
And I'm Luke Janesco.
And remember, stay scared.